John's gone now. Starting to get bright. The Canton cops start searching around the area. They find 6 droplets of blood. And instead of collecting it like most people do, put it in a nice clear glass, like glassine tube, right?
Yeah.
Sterile, preserve it. They scrape it up and put it into red Solo cups. Party red Solo cups.
Now you are a former CSI, so you this is not standard procedure.
Absolutely. It was crazy. Crazy.
Okay.
And here's one other thing I have to say. In today's age, back when I was on duty, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I saw, this is the thing you have to understand, Gavin. When cops got on the scene, John had no winter coat on. He had one sneaker on, and he's lying out in this snowstorm that's going to be turned into a blizzard, right?
Yeah.
Now, my thing is this: why didn't the cops? Let's forget about a search warrant. Let's go in and say, Jesus, he had to be inside. Maybe there's other victims. Maybe there's someone held up. Maybe there's a triple homicide in there.
Right.
They never. The responding cops are not thinking, or they were thinking, and they're told not to do anything. I can't put my finger on that.
Canton is a suburb of Boston, so it's not like we're talking about like Barney Fife kind of cops there, right? These are qualified and trained people.
Let me tell you something. They got great paychecks there. They got buku bucks for doing little.
Okay.
Here's the other thing. They are an accredited police department. They were given special accreditation, which they got all kinds of federal monies for grants for buying, vests or
right
dash cams, whatever. They don't go into the house, right? Any prudent person would suspect, well, Jesus Christ. The girlfriend's saying, I dropped him off to go to this party, right? Mm-hmm. The other girl in the cave saying, no, he didn't go in. Well, guess what? That's a draw. You're the cop. You got to go in. You got to go in, right?
Yeah.
You have to go. They didn't go in. They went in for a different reason, but that's down the road. So they collect 6 drops of blood, put them in red Solo cups.
Is this like in the snow or?
This is in the snow, drips.
Okay.
Right? So, all right. So he's 12 feet off the beaten path of the road. So allegedly got hit, and somehow at 24 miles an hour, instead of toppling him over, right? It's a 6,500 pound SUV. He's 217, let's call him 220. It should have just toppled him over and ran over. Somehow this car was able to catapult him 12 feet up to the lawn area, okay? And he lands on his back, and he lands on top of his phone. And so he has a huge gash on the back of his head, yet there's very little blood, okay? So when they collect the red blood drops, they got a leaf blower out and started blowing the snow. And lo and behold, right, instead of finding all this red plastic taillight, I mean, come on, they find broken glass in the snow, clear glass.
But like not the polycarbonate plastic. This is glass that they're finding.
Exactly. This is actual glass from a broken cocktail glass.
Okay.
So they find that. That's the only evidence that's found at the scene at that particular time.
Okay. So knowing that the Commonwealth is alleging that she hit him with a car,
right?
How are they explaining the I guess the trauma to his body?
Well, that's the thing. There was right now there is no bumper bruises. There's no pelvic fractures. There's no fractures to his legs. Nothing like, for instance, when I was doing the taillight analysis, so he's 6'2", that taillight juts out 5 inches on the corner. That would have hit him straight into the sternum. If it was they try to allege it was a glancing blow, right? Anyways.
Was there any other damage to the Lexus besides that?
There was scuff marks. a little bit of a dent, nothing major, nothing. They said there was glass embedded. They said they found the magic hair that stayed on the car from 12. Think about this. His hair stayed on the bumper of the car, right? From allegedly 12:30 all the way to 4:50. No, more, all the way to 5:30 in the evening through a raging blizzard, snowstorm, slush. And how the hell how does a little hair stay on the bumper and not fly off?
Was there any of his blood on the bumper or anything like that?
No, no, nothing.
Okay, so
No.
I mean, okay, Sean, where you are obviously on the side of Karen Reed did not do this,
Well,
right?
I want someone to tell me how if she did, how did she do it? I can't see this. The other thing is he's got uh, these scars, these lacerations on his right arm. Many, like there's like 9 of them, right? And it's like a pulling, scraping type thing, consistent with an animal bite, animal scratches, animal bites. You even see a pattern. I don't know if you know Melanie Little. She had a dog trainer on there, and he identified where the dog had bit on, right?
Oh.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is very good. But that
And those
allegedly
were
said
fresh? Those weren't like old?
fresh
Those
as, fresh as daisies, fresh as daisies. And his shirt had nine punctured, like his shirt was consistent what was on his arm. So I begged the question here, Gavin. This car was so smart, right? It was so smart that it was able to hit John and cause damage above his neck, missed his whole body, somehow got his arm after he was hit. Somehow, I don't know how, but I'd give him maybe 1 or 2 times to get scratched. You'll see the pictures, many lacerations. Gets him up to 12 feet off the street by the curb, lies on his back on top of his cell phone.
Okay, so all right. So according to the evidence, your opinion is there's no chance that the story that the prosecution is saying that Karen Reed hit him with a car, that doesn't hold water for you.
Well, when we get no, because we didn't get there yet. The working theory, as John was carted off to the hospital by both the Canton police, because let's face it, Gavin, why would they collect blood if it was a hit and run car accident?
Do they ever do that?
No, the
That's
guy didn't.
only if they're suspicious that this is a murder.
An assault. Guess what the working theory was?
What's that?
When John gets to the hospital, the EMS person tells the person from the ambulance tells the doctors and nurses waiting at Good Samaritan, "Oh, this gentleman, he's a Boston cop. He was assaulted by his girlfriend with a cocktail glass." It was being worked as a domestic assault from say 6:45 until 11 o'clock in the late morning.
Okay, so they were already doing that. They
They
were
were
already
doing
going down that road.
a domestic assault, right? As a matter of fact, once the state police got involved, one of the state trooper sergeants called over Good Sam, and at this time he's pronounced dead. He said, "Yes, we're still working this as a domestic assault. The girlfriend hit him with a cocktail glass." So at that point, the hit and run was not even in play at that point.
Okay.
So at 9 o'clock, after the cops had left and never secured the scene, never, the scene's gone. Jen McCabe, Matt McCabe, Brian and Nicole Albert, and Julie Albert are at the residence. And somehow, Jen forgot to tell the responding cops, "Oh man, I forgot to tell the cops that uh, Karen said I hit him and I have a cracked tail light."
Okay. All right.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So, all right.
It's crazy.
So
I'm
if
telling
we just stipulate, we're just going to stipulate that you're right that Karen Reed was not responsible for the death at least in the way that the official story is. She's not
Right.
responsible for the death of John O'Keefe.
Right.
Why then is John O'Keefe dead?
Okay. Why?
Or
All
or
right.
how? Or let's do the regular reporter questions: who, what, when, where, why,
Right.
now?
Well,
Right?
right. That's what I
Yeah.
wanted. I wanted guys from the other side, like me. There's plenty of cops on the other side. One in particular who refused to talk to me. I said, "We'll go offline. I don't care.
You
Please
mean
tell
on
me
the other
why."
side of that believe that
Yeah,
she
corner.
did kill John O'Keefe? Okay.
Absolutely,
All
absolutely.
right.
And he was a very good friend of John's and Karen's. Matter of fact, he kept his car at Karen's garage, so he didn't have to pay storage fees. I guess he's had some kind of, I don't know, some sports car. I don't know what it was, but very close. And he
Okay.
completely turned on Karen. Please tell me why. I'm not going to say his name. Just talk to me. Tell me why. Okay. So my theory on this was it was a fight that happened very quickly and ended very quickly. Okay. And it happened inside the house. There was a lot of drinking going on, a lot of testosterone flaring up. We know that the principals were using steroids. Okay. Maybe had some aggression from
A
there.
little roid rage. Yeah.
Little
Okay.
roid rage. Maybe John came in a little pissed off at Karen. Who knows? People got excited. But there has been source information that said when John came in, they were immediately engaged in a fight. Okay. And it ended up down in the basement. So there could be a couple of reasons how he got the gash, almost a 2.5 inch gash on the back of his head. You could actually see into the skull. That he maybe gone toppled down the stairs, did a free fall, and hit his head on the last step, or the fight continued down there, and that's where he succumbed to being knocked out. Okay.
All right.
Another source that one of the people in the house said that once he got up, after 20 minutes, he came conscious, started convulsing, threw up all over the place, and hit his head backwards on something. Didn't know. Said blood was everywhere. Now, this is people inside, but it's uncorroborated. But there is something that I forgot to tell you.
All right.
There was no evidence linking Karen Reed to the scene other than an eyewitness that dropped John off. Okay. She and John were followed down by a guy by the name of Ryan Nagel. He was in the passenger seat. Some guy. They arrived at the same time.
Okay.
Now he's texting his sister who's in the house at a party. Wants to know, are you coming home? And she comes out and says, no, I'm going to stay. At that time, the theory is that John went into the house. All right. He dries up a little bit and looks at Karen. She's looking straight. She's got her hands. He says this 10 and 2 in the wheel, dome lights on. John is nowhere in the car or outside the car. So where the hell is John? There was no evidence until the state police at 4:30 in the afternoon that day, until they got possession of that SUV. There was no evidence linking Karen to that scene at all. White cocktail glass and 6 droplets of blood. That's all they had. By 6:30, they had 3 pieces of tail light, 2 red, one clear of tail light, and then 5 undocumented searches later, up until February 18th. He was allegedly assaulted on January 29th. They find the last piece of tail light, right, on February 18th. 5 undocumented searches for a total of 37 pieces that
Explain
they
to me
couldn't.
what an undocumented search is. What is that? What
Okay,
does that
so
mean?
in his reports, he said, yeah, that evening we brought the CERT team out, which is specialized emergency response team. They
Okay.
come out, and they're not crime scene people. They do searches for missing people in the woods, that
Yeah.
type of stuff, drownings, right? But
Yeah.
anyways, they used these people. They had shovels, and oh my God, they found this huge remember, a large piece in the snow, right? There's pictures of a snowbank
At the scene where
at the
John was
scene.
found?
Yeah, right near John's body. Yet
Okay.
it wasn't there at 6 o'clock. How the hell can you miss 37 pieces of red taillight, a black sneaker size 12, and a ball cap? That was all found. So that there was only 3 pieces found in the initial search. 2 years later, the defense finds out there was 5 undocumented searches. In other words, state police went out and never wrote a report about collecting evidence.